We'll see what he does decide to pick up. Of course, has picked up the new meta quite well, has played the Gangplank as well, but Jax, not going to be seen. Helio, we'll see what he decides to ban away. We'll see what they have in mind. Gangplank going to leave the Rift as well. Makes a lot of sense, G4 or Archie. The 2-for-1 special, I think, with that ban.
Yeah, that is a nice 2-for-1. Elise being banned again on blue side, looking to open up maybe for the likes of the Tahm Kench that we've seen. We've still got Misfortune available at this point. So many picks still up. Okay, jungle prioritization. Elise, Rek'Sai banned out.
Evelyn hasn't been banned. Thiak, he's looking at these bans going, what, are you going to first pick Evelyn?
I mean, there's Lee Sin for SOFM, there's Rengar for SOFM. I would assume this is going to be, they'll leave one of them, whether it's the Eve, the Lee Sin.
It's really weird though, because like neither of these junglers have found success on these champions.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's actually
really strange that they're the ones that are going to be banned away. But Mundo is going to leave the Rift. Latam giving a lot of respect to that champion, not wanting to give SOFM a chance to find another victory on him. Archie now with the first pick. Quinn would be an odd choice.
It would be an odd choice. She has been reworked as well. This is the after the first rework Quinn.
Yeah, this is transportation Quinn.
Yes, this
she
is
literally
delivery,
just public transport bird. It's fantastic.
Home guard mobility boots. Get to lane in 6 seconds, Quinn.
Pick me up. We got to get there. It's like, you killed me. It doesn't matter. I'll be back in my lane.
I'll be back.
5 seconds later.
It's all good. I'm looking at what else the SEA team have first picked. A lot of what they've prioritized has been banned. Kalista they've looked at. That was a red side game that they picked that up, which is still available. And I guess kind of goes along the same vein that Quinn was in. It is an
Optimus, yeah, they have picked up a lot of, I guess, prioritization on the AD carry. Thiak once again hovering the Rammus. I like it a lot. Malphite has, of course, been banned one more time. And without Mundo there, Thiak may actually go towards the Rammus, but just a hover for now. We've heard whispers of how strong this champion is.
Whispers.
Nearly whispers at this stage, though.
I've seen it terrorizing solo queue as well. But
that's true. I think Rammus has been always terrorizing solo queue.
For good and bad ways. We have players in Europe that just are notorious, even in competitive games, who go and teleport home guard Rammus just at all times. Just get in there, gank. Nobody can gank like it, but I'm not expecting it this early on in the draft. I guess kind of against Tristana until Tristana can get armor penetration. High armor targets are fairly effective because she is a scaling AD carry. I'm not expecting it.
Surprise.
Yeah, that's much better. That's what I expect.
Yeah, that's what we expected from Latin America at the moment. Just hovering over the Rammus for quite some time, but it is going to be Thiak's famous Evelyn, as well as Helios' very successful Fiora that we did see earlier on. SOFM though,
hello.
He's got the Ignite, he's got the Smite, and he's got the Nidalee now as well. So we're talking about skirmishing, jumping around the jungle, being a menace. It's exactly what SOFM likes to do, and definitely something Nidalee likes to do as well. G4 cycling through some assassins. He's got a champion pool that is more of a champion ocean, though. He can pick up whatever he wants, and that's going to be the Brad. Moss is going to try and work on his Dumbledoge impression, see whether he can outperform those Tempered Fates, which were so good in the last game.
They were, but Dumbledoge not in this one. I haven't seen Moss really picking up Bard too much. Seen a lot of Morgana, seen a lot of Thresh from him. So this is a bit of a departure. Still looking for those bindings, this time more cosmic.
The cosmic version.
I'm looking at this Nidalee pick. We have not seen Nidalee out of the jungle in a very long time. Half a season, I would estimate. Roughly, because Nidalee
we haven't seen her so far at IWCA, and this is sort of the first tournament that is on this preseason patch. Of course, there have been some over in China, but I have a feeling that Nidalee hasn't been played there either.
I mean, Nidalee likes to... Well,
wow, White Lotus locked in the Ezreal.
Yeah, I wonder whether this is mid lane. And Say is going for the mid Ezreal that we just saw out of Syros earlier. I'll talk a little bit about Nidalee as we get into the game and the exact interaction. I kind of expect that is going to be actually AD Ezreal. I don't know why you'd go.
Well, Say has also been so good on these control mages with a whole bunch of bursts that he can lay down, like the Lissandra, the Anivia there as well. He was so strong. But G4 says, no, you're not going to be playing Lissandra this game, because I am. And Hecarim now being considered. Archie already switched over those summoner spells. He's going to be galloping around the top lane, see whether he can deal with the Fiora.
Okay, so I don't mind this so much because there's a couple of things that interactions later into the game that Lissandra and Fiora are going to come up with. Lissandra, we saw earlier, get kind of decimated in the actual in-lane matchup, but as soon as the riposte is gone, it's basically a war of timing now between G4 and Helior. Can he riposte the frozen tomb that comes from Lissandra,
yeah.
or does he have to use riposte on something earlier, like on the Hecarim crowd control, at which point you instantly get the crowd control onto Fiora, and she can't do anything in the fight, gets absolutely blown up. It's a timing issue, but we have seen that Helior was pretty good with those ripostes earlier.
Well, that's how Fiora works as well.
Yeah.
It's all about the mind games that you can create with that riposte ability. See whether he's going to be able to make it work. Seiya now, they have locked in the Hecarim, so Archie's going to be taking the horse to the top lane. Narse now considering the rise for Seiya. It is going to be locked in. Lots of late game damage, and White Lotus, our first AD carry Ezreal that we are going to see at the IWCA. See what he decides to pick up, because of course Ezreal gone through a couple of minor changes, but I just want to see the Rageblade Ezreal.
Well, we'll see. I'm still not really expecting it. I mean,
stack it up, True Shot Barrage to the face, so much damage.
I'm more expecting the additional cooldown, as Yamato was alluding to.
Well, true,
earlier.
yeah.
You go for that Essence Reaver, you start really building up that cooldown.
Doesn't mean you
on.
can't still do it, Stress.
That's very true.
Go for all of them. Get all the items.
That is true. One other thing that Ezreal does have that's quite nice just to have in his back pocket is because of the cast time on Tempered Fate.
Yep.
You just shift out of the Fate and get yourself away. So we'll see.
Yeah, having the extra safety is going to be very, very useful. But I'm looking at Theak to really control this early game as well. With the Rise hanging out there in the mid lane, does tend to paint a target onto himself quite a lot. Helior wants to take over his top lane as well, and if Archie can get control of that, it could be a problem here for the Latin American side. So we'll see whether Theak can get around, use his Evelyn, make sure he utilizes the stealth effectively in order to get himself around the rift and into situations that can really dominate his opponents. And I'm excited to see him back on his signature champion.
I am too. I'm really looking forward to this game. And, you know, I think the one thing that can cover for the Ezreal in this situation for White Lotus, it's very different from the Vayne that we've seen previously, is the fact that they have the Rise for the late game damage. Fiora, once she gets ahead, should be able to stay ahead. But against the Hecarim, it's melee matchup. Tends to do fairly well for Hecarim, so we'll see exactly
helicopter around. Don't get the minion aggro, but we are going to hop onto Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen, of course. Make sure you let us know who you want to take this game. GPL win using the hashtag on Twitter, or hashtag LA win if you want Latin America to win this game.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, whoever does win, potentially, well, actually not SEA, so not whoever, but it is all on the line for the actual...
Latin America, this is do or die right now. They have to beat the GPL, and the GPL, I mean, they just love playing League of Legends. They love killing people, and they're going to try their very best to deny Latin America their opportunity to get into that final.
And to keep it in mind, the finals plus the 1v1s, all the points is all going together to determine which of the wildcard teams will go to LA. That was where I was going with the
nice.
LA. I was going there. We got there in the end. To compete in
LA to LA
All-Star tournament with North America and Europe and Korea and China.
Yeah. All-Stars from across the globe, Stress.
I'm looking forward to seeing. You need performances like Turkey had today if you want to compete against the, I guess, premier regions is one way of putting it. But that was Turkey. We'll see whether the Latam team can live up to the same kind of expectation, because they do need a win here to put themselves in the final tomorrow, which will be going for that massive amount of points, that 90 points for first place in the 5v5 tournament. But Nidalee jungle, haven't seen it in a while. One of the big proponents in Europe for it, even after the changes to the jungle, was Svenskeren.
Yeah.
As a former SK player. And it's very good well, it used to be very good, if you can maintain a lead. You can get a lot of damage out of Nidalee in the jungle. Tank Nidalee isn't going to do so much in this game anymore. She's going to get outscaled pretty heavily by the rest of the Latam team and won't have too much of an effect. So I wonder whether SOFM is going to go full damage. That is one area with this Ignite that I'm expecting him to go towards. Find Thyak in the jungle, take him out, get a lead, and snowball.
Yeah, and so far he's just been taking down the minor camps as well. So those Raptors are done after the Krogs, then moving over, picking up some puppies, then may grab himself a blue buff. We'll see what he decides to do. Thyak, though, has taken his red and is now moving towards his blue buff. Very interesting. Now they've got vision. Of course, G4 moving into the jungle, making sure he knows exactly where Evelyn is. Getting wards on the camps, exactly what you want to do to spot out for the Eve.
And not only that, Nidalee has the traps available as well.
Yeah.
So once you can get into the enemy jungle and stay there for a little while, there are extra tools to keep a track of Evelyn throughout this game, but we're a little way away from that. Warding will suffice for now, and it's all heavily favored around Archie's top lane, trying to spot Eve as far out as possible.
And that red buff still hasn't been taken here for SOFM. So interesting, just going to go for the full clear, leave the red buff up, wait until he can use that smite on it.
Yeah, that's one of the difficult things, is Nidalee in the current state of things, going around the jungle early, is still fairly squishy. So a lot of it is about how much damage you're taking from kiting, and red buff is a formidable opponent without smite.
The Crimson Brambleback.
Yes, do not want to try and take him on without your smite available.
Thyak already trying to get something done here. Makes it into the brush. Not going to be spotted. Either Moss or Optimus. Now going to come in. There's the flayback. Has been discovered. Hate Spite's coming out. They're trying to get their way over onto these relics. The magical journey, comes out. They don't follow him through. Moss is going to survive for now.
This allows Archie to keep putting the pressure on top lane. You can see him pushed very far up in the lane. As soon as they spot Evelyn, there's no real danger, no teleport or anything like that on Seiya in the middle lane. So Archie is having a lot of freedom up here. 23 CS to 12. Both have that corrupting potion, but Helio does still have 2 stacks, so should be okay. Archie can never really go aggressive under the tower. At this point, Fiora would just riposte any attempt at crowd control. So it is more of just trying to zone Helio off the minion wave and just stop him from getting anywhere near even CS. And it's working for now.
Yeah, most certainly is. G4, is pushing up this mid lane just over and over again, but Seiya, he's holding on to this minion lead. You can see he's still got creeps heading towards this turret, doing a great job farming as he's getting shoved. As we look here on the bottom side, after Thyak did make an appearance, White Lotus has begun pushing up this wave as well, but Optimus farming out fantastically. So the opposite experience here for the GPL on the bottom side of the Rift, when the farming seems to be going their way as opposed to that mid lane. But G4 has, of course, already gone back, picked up the blasting one. We'll see whether he can utilize that to gain a bit of an advantage. Moss, magical journey, going to get himself back behind Optimus here and into safety.
Very much safety, but that's the second time they've had to use that wall with the magical journey, getting not quite caught out on that attempt, but you know, Moss is okay. It's a different type of champion. He's having to like save himself here rather than Thresh just saving other people.
That's the weird part, is seeing Moss not on the Thresh, because it's just so impressive when we do, but none of those players to come out, just the Bard variety. Let's see what he's going to be able to do this game as Thyak going to make his way towards the top lane. Wants to put some pressure onto Archie, of course. Doesn't have any way out of a gank, as Thyak is going to get discovered. Nice ward in that top rush from the horse.
Archie is almost level 6. This big minion stack in front of him should be enough. Also look at G4 roaming up top as well, so it was just covering in case of any kind of attempt. That will keep him out of lane for a little while. So the CS lead for Seiya is starting to expand right now.
Oh, Spear very close to landing on a White Lotus here as SOFM pokes his head around. He's already level 6. He's been farming up this jungle like a monster. Ward goes into the brush, but he hasn't had enough yet. Moss looking for the Cosmic Binding, does get the stun. Arce, fantastic block of that spear. Means the White Lotus is going to be okay for now, but Moss, he may have to go back.
Just the SEA team not able to push up solidly under the tower at that point. They were looking for the dive. Good read that it wasn't on though. With the minion wave joining, couldn't get the Nidalee spear through.
Moss.
Also, Arce did catch the spear, but I mean, I'm glad to see they realize that without that spear landing, there is no gank to happen. Otherwise, the number of teams you've seen kind of going deep under a tower like that, needlessly throwing away any chance in an early game.
No,
really
it's not a good
frustrate.
idea. That being said, when you see the GPL play, you think, all right, well, they're probably going to die.
Probably.
Most of the time.
I'm interested now, itemization-wise, to see what the AD carries are going to do. Optimus right now has the BF sword, so big amount of damage that's going to come from him. Will Ezreal go the tier route and look for a stacking itemization, looking then for the Iceborne Gauntlet later? Will he opt for the Essence Reaver first? That's what he's going for. He's picked up the BF sword, so is going to match the power at this point in the game against Tristana. And then I wonder whether he'll end up going Iceborne Gauntlet later, or whether he'll just look for a more traditional AD carry build.
Yeah, I would like the Trinity Force just because of the fact that it will give you that 40% CDR.
Yep.
Get to that point where Mystic Shots will be coming out like Machine Gun. I do like that a lot. But we'll see. Of course, having the extra CC with that slow would be a good idea as well. 800 gold now, the lead for the Southeast Asian lineup. Archie going the full tank route with the 20% CDR already picked up with that Glacial Shroud and the Kindle Gem. Very strange. I was expecting something like a Trinity Force for Archie first up just to try and give himself some lane pressure, but Helior going to have a difficult time against him now just because he's going to be so tanky.
Yeah, and I think honestly Archie knows that he's already a fair amount up in this lane, but will concede to Helior the longer this game goes. When you look at how that matchup goes, Hecarim can only do well for so long. Once Fiora gets a couple of items, it's okay.
Oh
Great
my goodness,
play.
Arte with the flash play doesn't land the death sentence as the teleports are coming in left, right, and center. Archie and G4 both turn the tide. Is going to be the Tempered Fate landing, but Archie just waits for it. White Lotus gets feared back, and the GPL are going nuts onto the Latin American team. That is a double kill, and look, everyone was invited to that party, and the GPL came out ahead.
But the reaction time from the SEA team, teleporting in right after a reactive flash flay on the jump, really nice counter engage out of the SEA team. Just the attempt to punish Optimus, I like what the Latam team were trying to do there, but the numbers advantage from the double teleport is so good for the SEA squad, and you can see Archie able to get in there as well, use the Onslaught of Shadows, and we were wondering how good is Moss's Bard.
Pretty
Gets
good.
the Tempered Fate, gets 2 bindings during that engage. Pretty solid, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely, and locking down White Lotus there on the Ezreal as well, meant that they confirmed the 3rd kill in the bottom lane, and that was first blood actually. Sort of not the bloody game you'd be expecting here, even though it's only 10 minutes. First time anyone getting anywhere, but we're looking at this team. They do have the rise. Seiya has been quite quiet, still even up on that farm. That is a Rod of Ages completed now, almost exactly at 10 minutes for G4. Well and truly accelerated after that gank in the bottom lane.
And speaking of accelerated farming going on right now from the jungle.
That is
But
true.
there is an
Archie though.
engage.
Oh my goodness, turning
the
it around,
riposte
forcing
timing.
the flash. That riposte was not great.
Nope.
From Helior, and Archie just says, yep, you can grand challenge me, but I'm gonna win.
I love that Archie, because the riposte timing from Helior is based on the fact that he has to use the riposte right as Archie is coming towards him. It has to be soon enough that Archie hasn't connected yet, but Archie just runs around. He takes the long route and kind of loops over the top and uses the knockback. So Helior's got to be a little bit more careful with that. That's what
Yeah, Pound's not going to do it. Theak's going to pick up the first kill for Latin America. Archie trying to turn this one around. They do have the man advantage, but there's a very low Evelyn. Helior thinks, no, we can do this, man, but seems like Archie thinks that he can grab this one as well. Riposte comes in. That was a little bit better that time, but Theak going to be there. Oh my goodness, the Onslaught of Shadows. Archie so incredibly low. That juggling was fantastic. Latin American side grab a second.
just dancing
Meanwhile,
around.
in the bottom lane, that's going to be a double kill. White Lotus and Arce both falling down.
And they got the tower as well, but dancing around the tower aggro range for Archie, he was so close to getting a double kill, but knew he couldn't all in on Helio or Theak because they were just under tower radius. It was a great attempt, but down in that bottom lane, what happened was the tower went down, and then a hook landed, I believe, from Arce as the chase was happening. Tempered Fate comes out. White Lotus just then, oh, it was a double stun again from Moss. That was the bit that we didn't see. And easy cleanup for Optimus on Tristana in the bottom lane. Oh, Helios dead again.
SOFM getting a little bit of revenge. And yeah, he's only 9 CS behind the top laner at the moment. SOFM, he's got his Runeglaive, now building towards some more damage, has a couple of books. I don't know what he's going to be building. Is that going to be like a Gunblade?
He's a very well-educated cat right now.
He is.
But, you know, I feel like in this game, SOFM just was like, okay, I'm sick of playing like Rengar. I don't want to play Lee Sin this game. Just give me Nidalee. Just let me farm for like 10 minutes, and then I'll, you know, help carry you guys.
Yeah, he just wants to be like a solo laner.
Yeah, he wants to, but then he got caught out in the enemy jungle. Moss is caught out under his own turret.
He's so dead. The X is going to be able to pick up the kill. Saya tanks up the turret. Not a lot of play-by-play there when there's 1,000 spells going at once, and then a very dead Bard. Buys some time though. This top lane turret is going to fall. The GPL able to put pressure when it has been relieved. Thiac hanging around his red buff is in a little bit of trouble potentially because there are a lot of members of the GPL up here, but not going to happen. Arce just going to hang around and help him out. Optimus is going to back away. White Lotus. See what he decides to buy here. It is going to be the Essence Reaver as the first item. Very close to finishing it. Only another 400 gold, and he will have that in his back pocket. G4 playing up so fast. True Shot Barrage going to clear out the wave. This is what G4 does though. As soon as he has any lead, he's just a menace.
Yeah, he becomes pretty oppressive in the lane. As soon as he recognizes he can actually get ahead of you and stay ahead, you can see that Saya just has to respect the claw going forward. I mean, he knows G4's not going in because of the number of people around mid lane, but Saya always has to keep in the back of his mind, is this coming? Are there other people around the lane? Because they didn't have full control. Helior and Optimus going at it.
Yeah, well, the Buster Shot has to come out. The Grand Challenge is there, but Optimus has got a lot of damage. The Static Shiv giving him so much attack speed as well means that Helior just can't close the gap without getting killed.
I was keeping my eye on mid lane there as well because Archie was coming up from the river. They could have looked to engage, and I think there was a little too much safety for the Latam team under their tower. But honestly, the Latam team are playing pretty differently from how we've seen them in the last few days. They've gone for an Ezreal, which is a very different champion out of the AD carry pool we've seen. We've seen them play Vayne. We've seen them play a lot more scaling in that AD carry role. And White Lotus has been on point when he's been able to, you know, get the flashes forward on a scaling AD carry. I guess he can Arcane Shift forward on Ezreal. Oh, G4.
Yeah, Thiac looking for it, but he's just going to get Frozen Tomb. Does get the Agony's Embrace down, flashes over the wall. Oh, Dark Passage is going to save the Evelynn as well. Beautiful play from the Latin Americans. A nice double stun from the Cosmic Binding from Moss, but Thiac probably should have been dead.
Just enough to save them. Optimus at the meanwhile was pushing top lane in. Now the Latam team can respond with a little bit of a push down mid, but they don't have Ezreal there, and Ezreal isn't exactly the best champion for pushing down turrets as it is. No real wave clear behind the tower though. Moss has been hooked.
Yep, Death Sentence is going to come in. White Lotus picks it up with an Arcade Shift, I believe. Teleport's coming in. G4's looking to try and pick something up. It doesn't have the ultimate. Helior's here. Grand Challenge not up just yet. Still a few seconds on that one as the spear lands. SOFM looking to pounce his way in. Trying to close the gap. That's the Rune Prison down. Saya can't connect the Qs though. There's White Lotus very low on mana. Boy, those spears doing so much work. You don't expect it out of the jungler to have this much money, but he's got 84 CS.
He is really wealthy right now when it comes to it. And SOFM, he's got the Runeglaive finished. Helior wants to fight.
Oh my gosh, look at the
Blue
burst
buff
to come out. Blue Sentinel might actually finish the job here for SOFM. There's going to be Saya picking that one up. Optimus going for a flanking Tristana play. Not sure how that one works as Saya flashes over the wall. He does have the passive up. The ultimate was there. Buster Shot. Oh, the True Shot Barrage not enough. And Optimus somehow survives.
That was, I mean, Optimus with a little bit of fortune there on that one. I mean, in the respect that
he had his flash as well.
He had his flash, he had the jump, like everything. Optimus was, he knew he was fine in the end, but I don't think he knew the ward was there and wasn't really expecting that straight up. And if he did somehow, that was kind of like the next level play.
Well, if he didn't know, then that's some crazy reaction time.
It is actually. I'll credit where it's due.
Most definitely, but Optimus going towards that rapid fire cannon after grabbing a BF sword. Sort of the standard, what Lex decided was the best way to build this Tristana as well, as he's sort of the one to look at. There's, oh my goodness, Thunderlords. There's a massive creep wave here. White Lotus manages to take down the kitty cat. And SOFM getting a bit too big for his boots.
Yeah, he really is right now. I mean, he was in the enemy jungle earlier, got picked off. Now he's getting picked off trying to duel White Lotus. When a lot of the damage that comes from Nidalee in exchanges like that relies on you being on top of him. And Ezreal with a flash up, with Arcane Shift up, is pretty mobile when it comes to moving away from a Nidalee. So I'm quite surprised that SOFM is taking fights like this. I know he wants to play super aggressive with this Ignite Nidalee. Oh, Tempered Fate caught Thiak. Can they follow up?
Dark Passage going to come in. G4 not able to get the Frozen Tomb off in time in the GPL. Not going to be able to get anything out of that ultimate from Moss. They still want to siege this turret. Has another 3 of Optimus's auto attacks in there. Oh, there's the Agony's Embrace. Arce trying to get in there. Frozen Tomb goes down. Saya really wants to get amongst it, but Archie's right in there. Arce's going to die. It's the shutdown. 5 members of the GPL hanging out, and it's going to be a 2-for-0 and a turret.
At this point, 3-0-3 for Optimus on Tristana. Has a lot of bits of items plus a static shiv at this point, and man, the damage is insane. This Ezreal can't really match the damage output. Ryze hasn't quite yet got his 2 items either, so there really isn't too much on the way from the Latam team that can actually deal with such a strong AD carry right now. I mean, Eve doesn't have any armor, isn't tanky at all. There really is no armor to speak of.
No, just not working. And Thiak known to build full damage Evelyners at the same time. So Archie, now with this full tank build, going towards that Spirit Visage next, you have to think, is going to have so much cooldown reduction and just so much tankiness that no one's going to be able to get through him. And Thiak being that squishy, that's always going to happen. The Frozen Tomb goes down and he's dead.
Oh yeah.
That's just easy.
The same will happen to Helio. If Helio doesn't hit that riposte, we already talked about it, then Optimus is just going to be able to take him out in a matter of seconds. There is no real way of surviving that. Helio would have to make a massive outplay in that kind of situation.
Very good point. White Lotus, though, now with the 30% CDR, Zeal and Essence Reaver completed. We'll see whether he goes towards an attack speed item or whether he grabs that Trinity Force, which is what we'd expect. White Lotus took so much damage just then. Optimus able to use a rocket jump to get away from Thiak. As G4 had made his presence known. It's a fully stacked Rod of Ages there as well for G4 in comparison to the 6 on Saya.
And at this point, one thing actually in that little exchange on Tristana was Agony's Embrace wasn't available for Thiak. I would have liked to have seen perhaps if they'd have got the kill from that. Optimus did jump away, but that's a fair amount of damage that Thiak could have had extra. It was mainly about 5 seconds from coming up.
Oh, man.
Unfortunate for Thiak, but he'll have that available for a flank play should they be looking for it in the next few minutes. And you feel like they kind of have to. There is a fair amount of zone control that's going to come from this Nidalee using the traps, being able to control areas by throwing spears with the added vision control that the SCA team has. But Helio's going in on SOFM.
Yeah, he's going to actually proc that Grand Challenge there as well. Gets the healing, the Ignite's down. Helio, the shield from the Dark Passage is going to survive, and Archie's being caught up by the Rune Prison. Thiak trying to get in there. G4 in the meantime is going to take down Helio on the backside. Tempered Fate onto 3 members. G4 might have the rest of his team around here to deal with it. Saya, oh my god, that burst damage was filthy. The GPL clean up. It's a 4-for-0.
Easy fight for the GPL team. As soon as the beginning of that, Helio just took so much damage trying to trade it back onto the SEA squad. Now GPL actually going to go straight for the Baron. It's a fairly early one. Let's take another look at exactly how much damage came down at the late part. So SOFM manages to out-trade Helio until the ultimate gets popped in. And then in came Archie. I think G4 just flashed W's at that point by the looks of it, then ults himself to stay alive. Manages to deal with just about everybody. And here comes the burst damage right down onto Saya. And blows him up. So again, this is just the SEA team being so incredibly far ahead right now. And considering that the SEA team are actually already out of contention for the top of the table, it's a little bit disappointing this team didn't show up on the previous days. They did in day 1, but after that, they really didn't show up yesterday.
They dropped the ball a little bit yesterday. I don't know what it was. Maybe they didn't get enough sleep. Maybe they didn't have what Turkey had for breakfast this morning. Seems like they may have now. This is a dominating performance. Not quite the perfect showing that we saw, but We'll see. Latin America, the game isn't over. The fat lady has not yet sung Stress. And Rise scales very well. This is something that Latin America have done before, but look, it's looking very dire.
And at this point, they just step up to the tower with Tristana. We heard, I believe it was the CIS team, I think Lex was talking about it earlier, you get Baron buff and just push towers. Oh, G4.
Oh, he did actually prop the challenge, though. So much healing. G4 able to stop him. The auto attack's not enough. He's going to have the Q, not going to find him. And in the end, it's a stalemate.
What are the cooldowns looking like? I mean, I think G4 can still get that kill. Depends on whether Halio can riposte again.
Oh, Arce, he gets behind him. Death Sentence doesn't land. In the end, Flash auto attack. Looks like the support player was able to do it.
They didn't get the bottom tower either. They were stepping up with the Baron up minions, with Optimus. They got the inner. They couldn't get the inhibitor. It is about one hit from dying from pretty much anybody from the Southeast Asian squad. But they are turning tail and running. G4 dying in the top side was a little bit too big of a distraction for SEA to keep pushing down bottom. But that objective is still very weak for them. That is going to fall over if you breathe on it at this point. But I mean, it's all on GPL to use the rest of their Baron buff. If this Southeast Asian squad can just swing top lane now with the Baron minions, with the Tristana, push that down, maybe just utilize the Hecarim up there and put the Tristana in the middle lane, you can actually get so much more done in the next minute or so of this Baron buff.
Yeah, not to mention with the rapid fire cannon and the spears as well, they've got a lot of siege potential underneath those turrets. Not to mention draw a bead. I mean, level 13 Tristana is going to have a fair, decent range. That Krug was pretty keen on Helior. Moss takes a lot of damage from the True Shot Barrage, but not too much. Static Shiv was actually what got picked up by White Lotus. I don't like it.
I'm not a fan of this build.
No.
I really am not a fan. I mean, this seems like he wants to be playing pretty much any other AD carry. I mean, you look at the likes of...
Well, he wants to be Ezreal. He just wants to have a Trinity Force, not a Static Shiv.
Right, but I mean that...
Yeah, it could be... it's a good Lucian build.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, it's one of the Lucian builds. Okay, it's not the Triforce of the Infinity Edge build that we've seen, but I mean, okay, it'll work with his Q.
Yeah.
There's a, added wave clear, but Ezreal's never good at wave clear. That's his one.
Hey, True Shot Barrage is pretty good.
Sure, but if you can wave clear like once every 60 seconds, that's okay.
Yeah,
but
not so
the
great.
Remaining 60 seconds in every
I didn't
other
have
lane.
much follow-up stress.
No, it's fine.
That was all I had.
It's fine because neither do the Latam team right now when you look at it.
Yeah, it's
All
very,
they've got an
true.
Ezreal with a Static Shift that's trying desperately to clear waves against a Tristana who's pushing turrets down incredibly. And now they've got an inhibitor tower that is still pretty low.
Oh, DX got the
Optimus
flank on Optimus here. Able to stop him. That buster shot in mid-air was brilliant. Optimus, of course, thought he was in trouble. Not actually. Oh, here's the engage box goes down. Arce trying to create a zone of control. Moss very low. The Arcane shift in from White Lotus, but he's very low on mana. He will just back away. Optimus split pushing there in the mid lane, as you can see. If he gets any spare time with the turret, he's going to have a very bad time. And that's Infinity Edge completed, as well as the Rapid Fire Cannon Shiv and the Vampiric Scepter. Whew. This is a pretty strong Tristana, is what I sort of
just a little
meant to infer from there.
Just a tad strong right now for Optimus. He's actually just kind of using Rocket Jump whenever because he's expecting to get kills. He just hopped from the jungle into the lane just in case there was a fight.
Oh, Descent's landing on a G4. Can ult himself if he wants to. Frozen Tomb not even going to be needed. Just uses the claw to get himself to safety. Optimus, you can see, running interference on the side. By interference, I mean killing everyone. That is going to be the last auto attack. The crit from the rapid fire cannon going to deal with the turret.
Oh,
and this inhibitor is so dead.
Yeah, that's the inhib going down. Now they're probably going to look to recall and then swing back around once Baron is up. Dragon is pretty much a minor thought in the SEA team's mind right now. It's like, well, we could get a third Dragon of the game, or we'll get Baron and then end this pretty quick. It is what they should do, to be honest. Set up vision control, get a pick. They already have the wards to see exactly where the Latam team is putting up the vision for themselves. So it should be a fairly clean-cut next sequence of events for SEA if they play their cards right.
I have a feeling they're just going to go and siege again somewhere else. I mean, they don't want to wait the 1 minute 20. That's ridiculous. That's so long. They need to be killing people. G4, you can see he's moving up the lane. Wants to start shooting people with his Q.
That's all he
minions.
wants to do. He's like, come on, let me shoot this blast of ice at you.
Yeah.
At least it's not the Korean Lissandra, because we haven't had to cast with. I mean, it's basically the equivalent of like Serena Williams. We're at a tennis venue, so I guess that's the most apt thing to just have Lissandra screaming around Summoner's Rift the entire time. So there's crossover, Max. There's crossover between tennis and League of Legends.
Well, it's both competitive.
Yeah.
You know.
5 versus 5 tennis, I don't think will go so well.
No, I've heard of doubles, haven't heard of quintuples before. May work. Don't know. Spear going to go in the middle, but you can see this turret's so dead. Tempered Fate comes in, not going to find anyone, but does definitely deter the Latin American side from doing anything. It is going to be a flash out of Arce as well. So no flash flays, no flash death sentences to try and engage. GPL now going to move back, grab themselves the Baron. 10 seconds until that one's going to be up. And then move forward for the victory, you have to think. 7 turrets have now fallen in their favor. Archie, just being a horse.
It is right now. I mean, what this kind of highlights is that when ahead on 522, as long as you're actively looking for turrets, looking for objectives, there are very simple ways of closing out the game.
Buster shot
See ya, Theak.
says goodbye, Theak. This is going to be, I believe, a crit out of Optimus that probably did more damage than Smite. Which is going to actually end this one as White Lotus, he's going down incredibly low. Oh my god, Archie is able to close out that kill, but this Tristana's doing so much work. Arce falls down, White Lotus, uses a Scrying Orb as well. All too easy, says the Tristana. Rapid fire cannon going to come up pretty soon. He's going to be able to shoot that turret when he sees fit. You can see this one's not going to last too long. And the GPL ruining the day of the Latin American squad. So yeah, he's going to be able to take down Archie in the end.
No one saw that. No one saw it at SOFM. Don't worry. You're fine. Everybody saw it. But at this point, you are right. They are playing spoiler. Remember, that is pretty much the only thing the SEA team can do here when it comes to Latam's performance. It'll also be a nice little way to end their own hopes in the standings, getting another win on the board. Will, of course, grant them by extra points. We'll get an actual confirmation on the exact final standings, I believe, as we go throughout the day. But right now, it looks to be like the SEA team are going to prevent the Latin American team from joining the finals. But I mean, this is the GPL team we were expecting, the team from Southeast Asia that, you know, can do this and just show up and take control of a game. But I guess
it does make so much sense, though, doesn't it, Stress? Because, like, this is a team that we're expecting to be incredibly sporadic. We didn't quite know what to expect, and we've had
a sporadic team.
Completely different performances on either day, on any given game. You just don't know what's going to happen. Of course, G4 has played all sorts of different champions as well. SOFM has either stepped up or done weird things. And it's just fantastic to see. I love watching the Southeast Asian team play, is what I mean, because you always get variety.
It's the Forest Gump team in that you never know what you're going to expect.
Oh, goodness me, the Frozen Tomb has gone down as G4 is ulting himself. Archie, Tempered Fate going to go down to White Lotus. Archie just would have liked to gallivant around a little more, but it's a double kill for G4 in the end. The resets are coming down. SOFM grabs one. It's a double also for Optimus. It's a clean ace, and this is going to be the game. Southeast Asian side able to deny Latin America their finals dream, and is going to confirm CIS versus Turkey in our final. The GPL go down swinging in the IWCA.
They do, and I'm sad that that was the performance that we saw. I feel like it'd be an easier pill to swallow if the SEA team just hadn't shown up and Latam had continued their performance.
And Latam were looking so good earlier in the day.
They really were in the games earlier today, but the SEA region get themselves that final win for the day, final win in the tournament, and it was a great performance.